Chris Vanderveen, of course, has been following the story with many of us, and the separation of these cases into 3 cases, the separation of the first case even into 2 officers getting split verdicts, that continues.
Yeah, you have 3 essentially distinctive trials in all of this, and now today you've just had an acquittal of now 2 of the 3 officers that were involved in the restraint, sort of the forcible restraint and the ketamine use of Elijah McClain. This trial was a little bit different, as you know, because in this trial, the officer elected to testify. Remember, in the previous round, those 2 officers elected not to testify. One was acquitted, Jason Rosenblatt was acquitted, Randy Rodema was found guilty of a lesser charge. In this case, maybe the decision to testify was an advantageous one for this particular officer because, in the end, this is what that officer wanted to see, an acquittal.
He talked a lot about how he felt like he was going to die. He thought there was some kind of a weapon. He was scared. He was going to die in that moment, and that's why he reacted as he did. But I think there was plenty of questions about, again, the medical testimony, which is so difficult.
And really the key to this trial was the amount of emphasis that they put on the EMT, on the paramedics, in terms of that administration of ketamine. Remember that in this case, Nathan Woodyard was there at the beginning. He was very instrumental in bringing Elijah McClain down to the ground and holding him down, where there was that thought that maybe Elijah McClain was reaching for an officer's gun. That's what they say escalated this. And then he gets down to the ground, and then essentially Woodyard leaves the scene for a little bit.
Right, goes to his car.
Goes to his car, isn't even around. And his defense made a big deal out of that. They also said, look, he wasn't the one that was responsible for giving the ketamine. It was the paramedics that showed up a little bit later to give the ketamine. And obviously that presents some challenges for the next round of trials that are said to begin after all this. But in this case, it appears as if the jury did believe that in essence, the decision to give ketamine, which was, according to the coroner's testimony, the reason why Elijah McClain died, was the excess of ketamine that it was given. In that case, they said, that's what killed him. Woodyard didn't give him ketamine, so therefore we have to acquit Nathan Woodyard.
So the jury goes in this direction, but unless you're in a vacuum, you realize the impact that this verdict now has on people who feel that Elijah McClain, was killed for no good reason, and so that those people who want justice for Elijah McClain, Elijah's mother wasn't satisfied with the verdict in the first trial. You know she won't be satisfied with the verdict today.
Yeah, this will be a very, very difficult sort of verdict for family, for community members, for a lot of people that watched this case for a number of years. And really the headline today now is 2 of the 3 officers that had so much scrutiny put on them, 2 of the 3 officers have now been acquitted in the death of Elijah McClain. That is a big deal. Now, it hasn't gone 0 for 3. There was 1 officer that was found guilty, but at the end of the day, this was a decision. Remember, this was a decision that the local prosecutor initially decided not to prosecute. The Adams County District Attorney decided, we're not going to prosecute in this case. And then eventually it left it up to the state attorney general and the governor's office to sort of get involved in all of this and to sort of really, in some people's minds, put political pressure on this to review the case. And that's what led to where we are today. It'll be interesting to hear what Phil Weiser thinks about all of this, the attorney general thinking about, was this a good decision? I bet he'll say yes, but you can't escape the fact that 2 out of 3 officers have now been acquitted.